Okay, so we talk a lot about relationships, right? You've been married almost 3 decades.
Yes.
And there's a lot of chatter in the community about men saying in 2025 there's no benefit to marriage for a man. Do you believe that there is a benefit to marriage?
I believe if I wasn't married, I wouldn't be as successful as I was.
Ooh.
Or have been or am. I don't believe that I would be as, strong and right-minded and loving and caring. I don't believe that I would be who I am today if I wasn't married, because I have to have a strong foundation, a strong place to come home to, a strong, leader who can raise kids and also support her husband, and then be a leader when I'm down and I'm out and my body and my mind can't function, but to keep me up and to be there for me. So marriage is beautiful when you handle it with care, when you respect your vows, when you do the things that are supposed to be done with the marriage. And I ain't talking about the paperwork. I'm talking about the love. Because paper says this, but love is that. And I believe that my marriage has been strong because my wife has been my friend. She's been my homie. She's been a gangster. She's been a rider. She's been a forgiver. Because a lot of times, when you marry, you make a lot of mistakes and somebody has to forgive. And she's forgiven me so many times because I made a lot of mistakes when I didn't understand what marriage was about. And I didn't know how to be a man when I was still a boy.
There's a lot of seasons in marriage. That's what my parents say all the time. When you marry somebody, you got to marry somebody that knows how to fight. So you're not fighting each other, you're fighting the problem. And one of the things that they say is that there are seasons in marriage, and a lot of us as women especially, we're not taught how to be married. We are taught how to get married. We're taught about the wedding day. We're sold the dream, the happily ever after, but not the work that is required for us to keep it.
What people don't know is I only had one girlfriend my whole life.
Your wife?
Yes.
Your wife is the only girlfriend you've ever had? I mean, I know you were high school sweethearts, but like...
Well, I never had a girlfriend. Like, I was that shy, like... That's crazy, right?
Did you shoot your shot or did she shoot her shot?
No, it was me. What are you talking about? She only had one boyfriend that she was with when I met her.
Oh.
See, that's what people don't know. She had a boyfriend.
And you took her?
I didn't take her. He just slipped.
Oh.
He dropped the ball. And I was on the sidelines watching because I wanted her. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you want something at that age, you focus in. I'm like, I wanted her bad. I went and got a relationship with her mother, her grandmother. Like I said, I had no girlfriends my whole life. So when I finally decided to say, this is the one I want to go after, it was like I did extra things. And I fell in love with her before she fell in love with me.
What? They say men do.
Yes. I loved her. And she didn't even like me.
What?
Yes.
How'd you get her to like you? They'll say in 2025, they say men that do the extra are simps. You think that's true?
They said that back then. At that time, if you were a girl and you try to talk to her, you expect to be engaged in some sort of activity like fast.
Right.
Like 30 days is like, all right, we ain't going nowhere. But if you were somebody for like 4 months and I'm doing all these different things, and at that time the homies would ask, hey, cuz, did you...
What's up?
And I can't lie. I'm like, nah. They're like, you been with her that long? Or you? I'm like, I ain't even kissed her yet. Oh, niggas like, what is you doing? And I couldn't explain it to them. It was different. I was focused.
Yeah.
I was focused. I was locked in on my target. And once I got her to understand that, okay, I could fuck with him. Every time I would be with her, when she would walk away, I'd be like, damn, I don't even want to see her walk away. It was just certain things like that was like a fucking movie. Like, the fuck am I doing feeling like this? And why am I? So it was like, you know what? I'm about her and I'm finna make her be about me. And I did everything that I had to do to prove my love and to get her to become my girlfriend. And then from becoming my girlfriend, then I became a superstar in the rap game. And then it was like, damn, I got all these different girls trying to get at me. And niggas is telling me, why you worrying about her? And you got all these bitches that want to get, she want to give you something.
Right.
Like, all right, okay, all right, I will. Then steady, like not feeling right. And I'm like, you know what? I want to marry her. But my homie Tupac is the reason why I married her.
Really?
Yes, because it was times where everybody around me was like, because we would argue and have fights. It wasn't always perfect in the beginning.
Right.
And I would always keep her away. And they like, man, you got any bitch you want? Why you? Pac was like, man, what them talking about? Well, that's a good woman right there. You need to marry her. And I listened to him, but I ain't listened to him. But then I listened to him when I was like overseas doing a show. So I called her from overseas. I think I was in Japan or some shit. I said, hey, boo, when I get back, I want to marry you. And it was just like that. It was like I had to do it, and I did it. And nobody around me was getting married at the time. So it was like I looked real crazy doing it.
Oh.
But I felt good about it.
Oh.
We had one baby. And then when I told her I wanted to marry her, she told me Lil Snoop was on the way.
When it comes to Snoop, I understand exactly what he's saying. I feel if you have the right partner, everything else will be enhanced and be better. And one thing that he said, I didn't know that that was his only girlfriend. I was very surprised when I heard that. Usually people who are, you see them as an extrovert, they're really pretty much introverts. And I didn't know that about certain people until I got older. But when he said he loved her before she even liked him, I thought that was hilarious. And usually, sometimes that can be the case where it's like, somebody's gonna like someone first, and they can't stand them initially, but then they kind of grow on them, and then a relationship blossoms. So when he said that he got advice from Tupac, letting him know you should marry her, that's a good woman, everybody else is kind of clowning you or making fun or whatever, those are usually people who are jealous, who wish they had what you had. Because I remember when I proposed to my now wife, I got some reactions I didn't expect for certain people. And this is usually why I don't tell people anything until it's actually done and over with. Because when I said I was getting married, I was like, really? Why? And fast forward almost 15 years later, we're still together. We're still happy. And some people who were married are no longer married. Or their relationships are not as good as they once were. So I look at that type of stuff. When it comes to this type of stuff, usually, because I feel like my wife's made my life a lot better. And I've done things I probably normally wouldn't do. Gone to places I probably wouldn't have gone to. And I just feel she enhanced my life that much better. Because when we met, I thought I had no chance of getting her at all, right? So when Snoop said, I'm narrowing in because I'm going to get what I want, I kind of understand what he means by that, because that was one person who I wanted to be with, and I never thought I would actually get her. But I said, okay, I'm just going to focus and just do what I need to do. Not by any means necessary or anything like that, but it's like, I know what I want. I'm going to try and go get it. And most guys growing up, they'll nag a woman to death until she finally gives in. But that's not what I want. I want you to want me because you want me, not because I nagged you to death and then you're like, you finally give in to make someone go away. I've seen people do stuff like that as well. What Snoop said is actually accurate and 100% correct. So I give him props for saying that. Didn't expect that coming from him, but when you see people act a certain way in public, they're not always that way in private, so people can surprise you.
Alright, some buddies, I am with Jay because I was hella surprised that Snoop only had one girlfriend, because it seemed back in the 90s, that's our time, me and Jay, that Snoop was one of the top rappers, especially for the label Death Row. So it just seemed that way, but hey, that's why behind closed doors, you don't know somebody's life. You don't know that Snoop has only had one girlfriend in his life. That's almost romantic, and I can see, because of the people that he's around, the genre. I mean, quite frankly, he said it. He was from the hood, and guys don't necessarily respect that. He even said, hey, you've been with her so long, how far have you gone? Well, Snoop wasn't playing that end game. He was playing the forever step end game. And by the way, it's just so funny, because what he's saying, that his girlfriend wasn't even into him at the beginning. So I'm going to show my age. There was a reference from the TV show Family Matters with Steve Urkel, and he would always long for Laura. And the one thing, whenever he got a little step in the right direction, he would always tell Laura, I'm wearing you down. And I think that's what Snoop did. He even gave you the blueprints on how to do it, which I agree with. You go with the family, okay? Because you get in with the family, then they're going to remember you. And that's pretty much the people you want to get in with, right? Because they're going to have her ear. And vice versa, okay, ladies? If you want a guy, get in with the family. Very surprising that he got the advice from Tupac, out of all people, because at that time, in the 90s, Tupac was seen like kind of crazy himself. He was always random. You could never peg him. He was never planned. But nonetheless, I think really, for me, that Tupac was misunderstood because he was all heart. That's what I get out of Pac. So the fact that he gave Snoop advice on keeping that girl, I'm all for that. Now, I do relate with Snoop when he said at the beginning of the relationship that he didn't know what to do, even the marriage, because that was his first one. He even said he would push his girl back. And I remember doing that because I had only been married once and that didn't go well. This time I thought, okay, I'm older, I'm wiser, I know who I am, I know what's going on. But I was doing the same thing. Why? Because that lack of experience. So when there was a disagreement, I remember not wanting to necessarily talk to my wife anymore because, quite frankly, only child, narcissist, it wasn't going my way, so I didn't want any more. But that's not the way to do the marriage, okay? Hence, right now, do the opposite. But I understand Snoop, and he said he made many mistakes. I have made a few mistakes, probably as many as he has. But he had what I feel I have, which is a very, very forgiving wife. My wife is not known for her patience, but when it's come to me, I think she's taken it far beyond what she felt she could ever have when it came to patience. So that's whenever Jay and I talk about having the good woman, having the right woman, regardless of the way, shape, or form, because Jay has his right woman, I have mine, it makes all the difference, okay? Because that is what allows you to get through that hurdle and continue to move forward together. So this is amazing, hell of a revelation for Snoop. I see him in a totally different way. And by the way, when are we going to get just this Snoop documentary? Not just the rap game, but now the love story. For all of you, hey, that ever want to watch Rocky, Rocky is not a boxing story, it's a love story. So Snoop, all the props to you.